Innovation, too hard. There's no return on investment, takes too long, too much money, and we don't need to do it to stay relevant in the marketplace, do we? That's what a lot of businesses in Perth believe. How do I know? Because that's how a lot of businesses in Perth behave. As though innovation really is too hard, costs too much, takes too much time, and isn't even really necessary anyways. They think that because that's what they see happening all too often in WA business. Technology, innovation, startups popping up and then going down with no result, losing investor money. A business in West Perth a few years ago collected together $750,000 from supposedly sophisticated investors for an idea which even a high school physics student could have told them isn't going to be commercial. Not going to get the output from it that they imagined that they would get. And it was all pure imagination, I'll tell you. Another business, 15 years and many millions of dollars spent on an idea that was not too technologically challenging. It was actually quite a feasible idea, not exactly rocket science. And in 15 years, they were unable to get anything into the marketplace. Never got a return on investment. And another example, you've probably all heard of this, and this is the big one. A slick talker collecting $120 million from investors for a device that everyone in this room would have taken one look at and said, no, never work, never work. No chance. Firepower, you've all heard of that. My name is John Jacob, and my job is pretty simple. I reduce the risk of innovation. By innovation, I mean developing technology for commercial purposes, developing products and ways of delivering products and services by developing the technology that underpins them. By risk, I mean you take the probability of something bad happening, multiply it by the severity of something bad happening, and that's the risk. When you get a high probability of losing a lot of money, that's a very high risk. I work on risk on both sides of the equation. I reduce the probability of the thing going wrong, and I reduce the cost of doing innovation, doing it more effectively by always getting results, reliable results, by methodologies that work. I'm grateful to John Chapman for inviting me today, and I'm thankful for your time to listen to me today. We're going to talk about 3 of the reasons that innovation doesn't work and what we can do about it. Now, we look back on the first business that I talked about. No, sorry, it was the second one. The business that spent 15 years developing something that never came to fruition. Well, no, I want to ask you a question first. Businesses believe that innovation is too expensive and too risky. Why? Because that's what they see happen all the time. Is that a valid conclusion to draw based on the evidence? Innovation is too hard, too risky, we're not going to do it. Why? Because we've seen all these companies go broke. Is that a valid conclusion? Well, maybe it is, maybe it isn't. But I know a better one, and that's this. Maybe we're doing something wrong. Maybe there is a better way to do innovation, and we ought to find it and use it. That insight is the first secret of innovation. Now, I say secret. It's not supposed to be secret. I just find that a lot of people in WA don't happen to know it. That there is a better way to do innovation. It doesn't have to be really risky, really expensive, and really time-consuming. And you don't have to go broke before you get a result. Now, my clients overcome that first barrier very quickly when they realize, there really is a better way to do it. You can see it overseas, companies do it all the time. There are things that you can do. You can reduce the risk. You can reduce the cost, and it is possible. Now, the company that spent 15 years developing a product, they had to believe that it was possible, but for some reason they couldn't quite make it. They understood the first secret, they didn't understand the second one. The second one relates to this story. A person goes into a shop, picks out a few items, spends quite a bit of time actually selecting their items, takes them to the front counter, pays for them, quite a bit of money actually, and then walks out of the shop empty-handed. Nobody here would have ever done anything like that, would we? But we might know some people who have done something like that. When you spend the time and spend the money on innovation, and you don't collect the asset that you paid for and that you worked for to build, then it's just like walking out of the shop without your products. And the secret is this: knowledge is the asset that you are constructing and building and buying and purchasing with your innovation investment and your innovative time. Knowledge is the asset. Businesses that understand that are able to collect and protect and secure and distribute and profit from that knowledge. That's what gives you a competitive advantage in the marketplace. Every product and every service on sale today, mobile phones to virtually anything that you can buy, any way that you can make money today, is basically solidified, condensed knowledge. Now, a business that understands that's the asset can be much more successful at innovation, because then they make the decisions and put the things in place that create competitively advantageous, commercially advantageous knowledge. Now, the other business that I talked about that had this idea that was never going to work, and they spent a lot of money just proving that it was never going to work. They could have found that out from a library book. They didn't understand the third secret of innovation. And, you know, they had academic consultants. Nobody in the company had any science knowledge whatsoever. But they had academic consultants that they were paying money to on a regular basis, right here at this university, in fact. But what the company didn't know how to do was how to ask the right questions. The consultant could only answer the questions that they were asked, but the company, the business, didn't know how to ask the right questions. And that's something that you learn when you get a physics degree, don't you? When I got my physics degree, I got it because I knew it would teach me how to find things out, how to ask the right questions, and how to find the answers. This is something that the business had no concept of how to do. This is the third secret. Ask the right questions and be skilled in finding the answers. When you put those three together, you can innovate.